The TOEIC is scary. Oh, so I've been told. So, guys, I've been told there were three things in particular that were scary for the TOEIC. Namely, exercises in part six, where you don't have missing words but missing sentences. That's the first thing. Then I've been told for the second part of our video that the last 10 questions were also scary. And lastly, the overall time management aspect of the TOEIC can be scary as well. So we're going to address those three things together, and we're going to see how we can manage that. So to start with, the missing sentences for the part six of the TOEIC. So as a reminder, you have had the writing part, the reading part that starts part five, where you've got missing words in short sentences, and then you've got texts in which words are missing as well. Like you can see there, question 131, 32, 33. But there, 34, you've got an entire sentence that is missing, and you have to read four of them. You have to read four of them, which is a bit more time consuming, a bit more energy consuming. This is why it's seen as being scary. So what can you do? Two things. First one, don't be scared. Actually, what happens is that that missing sentence that you have to find is most often a very good transition between the sentence that is before and also the sentence that is after. So there we're going to do it together to give you an example. So there we start the text with, since our technician will be checking electrical wiring as well as the lift itself, it will be inaccessible for the duration given above. Please note that we may keep the elevator closed for a longer time if deemed necessary, should any repairs be required. Blah, 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 something, 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 the missing sentence we are looking for. Your patience and understanding regarding this matter are appreciated. So what are we looking for? Could it be the first sentence? You can access this elevator by following the main hallway? No. We are not trying to access it because it has been said that it was closed. So there's no point in that. We know that it's not a good transition. So there it's fairly transparent. Sentence B, construction of this elevator? No, it's not that. They are not constructing it. They are checking something about it. So that doesn't work. Due to this, the only way to reach other floors would be to use the stairway. That seems a bit weird, especially since they are saying they are just checking the electrical wiring. So let's move on to sentence D. Nevertheless, you can be assured we will do everything possible to restore normal operation quickly. That sounds way better. Why? Because there you've got something negative that is said. Should any repairs be required, you are going to lose time. Nevertheless, something positive. And then you can be assured we'll do everything possible. So there we've got a transition. Besides, they're saying we're going to do it as quick as possible. And there they're speaking of patience. So that's the best transition there is for those sentences. So that's it. You have to find the sentence that best fits the text and the meaning of the text. That's the first way to address it. That's the way I prefer, but that's another way. The other way, I don't like it. I don't want to suggest it to you still. What you can do is that you can take into account that those missing sentences, how many are there? So there you've got the beginning of part six. See, one missing sentence in one text, another one in the second text. So two of them already. Another one in the third text there, three of them already. And lastly, another one in the fourth text. And that's about it. Then it's part 7, see? So what is it about it? Well, you only have 4 missing sentences for 200 questions. It's not a big deal. So worst comes to worst, what you can do is that you can ignore them. Remember, there's no negative point for the TOEIC. So what you can do is that you can just not read them. You tick one answer randomly and hope for the best, but at least you did not waste your time, your energy, and you've kept some good mood for you, which is always useful. So that's it. Now, for the last 10 questions, what happens about that? What makes them scary? Well, as a reminder again, so you finished the first 100 questions, the listening, in 45 minutes. And then you've got part 5, 30 questions in short sentences. Part 6, where you've got something like 40 questions in a small text, maybe less, yes. No, only 15 questions, sorry. And then you've got something like 50 questions when you have to read documents and understand them correctly. At the beginning, you've got short documents with only 2 questions, but by the end of part 7, what happens is that, see, you've got a lot. You've got 5 questions to answer regarding a corpus of 3 documents, which is a lot. So the last 10 questions, usually what happens, what makes them scary, is that you don't have time, energy, and good mood anymore, which sucks. So what I like to suggest is that by the time the audio is finished, what I do is that I don't do it following the order of the questions personally. So there you've reached the end of the audio. What I do personally is that I start on part 7. I still have a lot of energy, a lot of good mood, a lot of time. So I keep 50 minutes in order to do part 7. I answer all of these questions and then I move on back. I do part 6. I'm slowly getting tired, but I mean, part 6 is easier than part 7. See, you only have to find the missing words. And since I've been reading a lot in part 7, all of that seems way more familiar. And lastly, I only keep the last 10 minutes in order to do the 30 short sentences there. What happens is that, yes, I don't have any more energy, or not a lot of it, actually. But I mean, those sentences compared to the text, they seem shorter, way simpler. And since I've been reading all the text from parts 7 and 6, all of it seems way easier and more familiar. So that helps also a lot. Lastly, for the overall time management part, we can say 2 things, be it for part 7, so moving there, and for the audios, you can do something similar. That is, see, as an example, you start with that text in part 7. And what I do is that, when I start reading that page, I move on very quickly to the questions first. So there I'm going to read question 139, 150, 51, and so on and so on, but only that, not the VMCQ. So what is the main focus of this passage? What is one call? What do rescue agencies and pipeline companies coordinate? The word dispatch, so on, so on, so on. You've got the point. And then, once I've read the questions, only then do I read the text. This way, when I'm reading the text, I know the kind of information I'm looking for. And once I know I found the answer, I stop reading the text and I move on to the next. This way, that saves me some time, some energy, some focus, and always, because it's always so useful, some good mood. And this strategy can also be applied for the audio. Let me show you. There, as a reminder, the recording is going to read you all those guidelines, but you know them. So do not listen to the recording and already start looking at the picture that you're going to have questions about. You start looking at them, you don't listen to the guidelines, and you start thinking, okay, what is it? What does it look like? What will be said about it? This way, you're already into the exercise. For the exercise 2, part 2, you can't do that. But at least there you use that time as a break, as some resting time, And lastly, for part 3 and 4, there, you don't listen to the guidelines again, but instead you read those first 3 questions there. And this way, when the audio is going to start, you already know the kind of information you're looking for. And each time there's a break, you take advantage of it and you read the questions every time. When will the phones be installed? Why weren't telephones installed last week? And lastly, how long have they been waiting for the phones? This way, the audio is going to start, you know the kind of information you're needing, and you know what to answer, hopefully. And obviously, what is true for part 4 is also true for part 3 and 4, So you can do exactly the same. And by the end of the exercise, luckily you've saved some time, and that is going to help you score more points and have at least 990, hopefully. So that's it. 3 points that can be a bit problematic, but 4 strategies in order to address them. So, well, good luck, guys.